Hello, my name is Peter Raymer, and today we're going to talk about how to use update record set in D365. You may have updated records in the past using the update method in X++ in Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Finance and Operations. Well, I want to show you how you can use the update record set to perform those same operations even faster. This can be a huge performance increase by using this set-based operation. The key difference is that update record set will make a single trip to the database, to the SQL database. It will run a single SQL command to update all of the records, and then it will come back to the system. Whereas if you use a while select loop, you may loop through many different records calling update each time. That creates a new SQL statement that needs to be compiled and run and sent back to the system. So it can be a lot slower. Now, there may be scenarios where you need to use that while select loop and the update statement, but if at all possible and you can use an update record set, that will work a whole lot faster. So let's get into it and kind of dive in. So first of all, as a reminder, hopefully you know how to update data in D365. If not, check out this article. Essentially, it's going to go through how you create a table buffer and how you select data, populate that table buffer with some new values, and then call the update method there. In this case, we're going to kind of start with that and then show you an example of a while select versus an update record set. So here you can see this is a while select X++ statement. We've got a table buffer called custtable. We're doing a while select for update on custtable. We're looking for all of the customers where the invent site is set to east. Now, normally we wouldn't hard code values, but for the sake of this example, we'll hard code this value. Then for each one of those customers, we're going to put a TTS begin and commit around the whole thing and set the invent site to a hard-coded value of west, then call update. And then print an info message saying that we've updated this customer from one value of the site to a new value. All right, so that's fine. However, we could do this in a much faster way. So this call is going to make a call to the database for every single time we call update, whereas instead we could create a update record set. So in order to do that, we can create a new runnable job, and I can walk you through that. So if you right click, say add new item, and then select Dynamics 365. We can even select code. You can select runnable class parentheses job. You can give it a name. In my case, I called mine tutorial update record set. And then you can click add. I'll go ahead and open mine just so you can see that. So in this case, I'm still declaring a table buffer called custtable. I'm then doing custtable.skip data methods, which I'll explain that a little bit more here in a minute. And then I'm going to use this update underscore record set keyword. By doing that, instead of doing a while select statement, I'm actually telling the system to update all records that meet this specific criteria. So I'll say update record set custtable. This tells the system which underlying table we're updating. Then I'm going to use this keyword setting. So if you know T-SQL, this is actually the word set in T-SQL, but in X++ we're going to use the word setting. Then we're going to give it the name of the field and the value that it should be equal to. If we had multiple of these, we could do comma, the name of another field equal to another value. So we can do that as many times as we need to. Then we need the where clause. The where clause is going to filter these records to be only the records we want to update. Usually we're not wanting to update every single record in this table. It's only a subset. So this allows us to specify that subset. We can say where custable.invent site ID equals east. So essentially go find all the records, all the customer records where the invent site ID equals east, and update the invent site ID to be west. Now here I've got a hard-coded value. This could be a field or a variable. You could join into another table and copy this over. It's totally up to you, but the key syntax still remains the same. And then of course I can still have an info statement here. So this is how I write an update record set. It's going to perform way faster than if I do a while select loop. Picture you have 1,000,000 customers. It would take a long time to loop through all those records, calling update on each one. Whereas if you say update record set, it still may take some time for SQL to go update all of those records, but it can do it basically as fast as the SQL database allows it to do it, because we're making one single call, giving it the full instruction right away. So that's those main pieces. I can give you a few examples of what this looks like in base Microsoft code. If you want to go to the batch job alerts generator class, you can go to the add alert method. And you can see right here, here's an example of update record set. It's updating this table buffer job history. It's setting the alerts process to an enum value of process, where the job history update rec ID equals this other rec ID. So pretty straightforward there. Another example, we could go to the language table. There's a method called add installed language. Here it's calling update record set language table, setting all the label files to no, where the label file is currently set to yes. So a great way to reset a status, update a status if you need to. Here we've got another example. We've got update record set batch server, setting the server ID equal to maintenance mode plus the server ID. So you can concatenate values here in a single setting statement. And then we've got a where clause. This one's even a little fancy. It's using a light statement, so you can use all the same where clause functionality that you would in a select statement, including joins. And then this will update those particular records. Let's look at one more example. So in the number sequence reference class, there is a update virtual company records method. You can scroll to the top so you can just see that. Update virtual companies records. In here, we've got a larger update record set. So here we say update record set sequence reference, setting number sequence ID equal to this value. But it's got a where clause as well as a join clause with multiple where clauses as well. So just like you would use joins in a regular select statement to narrow down or even expand the number of records that you want to act upon, you can use those same statements in an update record set. You can use a non-exist statement or a join, whichever you'd like to do. Those are all helpful for you to update this particular record. So hopefully as you go forward as a developer, you will use update record set whenever possible, and only use a while select statement if you have to. Now, one word about this, and this is really key. So oftentimes when you're updating a record, these table buffers or tables will have code inside of the update statement. And this is true of other set-based operations as well. Insert record set and delete record set. There might be code in the operation you're doing. So in this case, the cust table has some code in the update statement, and it's updating related records, setting other fields. This code might be really important that you run. And so if you run the update record set, inherently this update is not going to get called unless I should say, it won't get called if you have this skip data methods true, which if you set this to true, it will just be a big set operation, but it'll skip all the code in the update statement. Sometimes that's okay. If you're resetting a status or setting a site where you've looked at that code and you know that it's not relevant to what you're doing, it might be safe for you to skip the code in there. But you have to be very careful because potentially Microsoft might add some code later that pays attention to the field that you're setting. And if you update a field in a way where you're not running all of the code needed to update related records, that could get you into trouble. So make sure that you're using the skip data methods if you want to not run that code. Otherwise, if there is code in that update statement, even though you've called update record set, it's going to act like a while loop. It's going to act like you called a while loop, and you're not going to see the performance gains that you would expect. So that's just something you need to be careful about and make sure you're using the skip data methods and that you're doing this very intentionally. All right, last couple things. If you want to see the Microsoft documentation, you can search for that on the Learn site. It'll tell you about the update record set, give you some examples with join. You can also look at transact SQL. This is the update method that will ultimately be turned into and sent to the database. And then lastly, for understanding when you need to use the method like skip data method, skip database log, skip delete actions, you can look at this chart. So you'll see skip delete actions is not needed when you're updating records, but skip database log and skip database methods, those methods you might need to be calling along with skip events to ensure that your update record set stays a record set operation and doesn't revert back to essentially a while loop. All right, hopefully you've learned something new today. These can be extremely helpful to speed up the execution time of the code you write, so keep this in mind as you're moving forward. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching. If you liked the video, click the like button. I also invite you to push the subscribe button as well. If there's other topics you would like to see a video on, please post in the comments and I'll see what I can do. I hope you learned something new today. Thank you.